Welcome to Bible Times. I'm Willard Pless, and we want to talk today about what's going on in this world, what Bible time we're in, where we're at. And we learn that Jesus has brought the great horror to light just before the judgment begins. Now we see that the great horror that we learn that has been brought to light about Epstein and Maxwell and President Trump and others as well. And so God has brought this thing to light. Now, it's been going on for many years, even reaching back to whoever. We know that it looks like Bill Clinton was involved, and no telling who others were involved as well as we look at this thing. And see, this thing goes all the way back to World War II. Things changed. This world changed when World War II happened. And we know that this goes back to Harry Truman time and Eisenhower and President Kennedy, and we've talked about all of this. And we know that the 10 horns that the Bible talks about that Trump will have is talking about the 10 presidents from Kennedy to Obama, that President Trump would sprout out of the 10. And it started with President Kennedy. He was the first one. And then, of course, we had 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans in this. And then when we come to 2017, that President Trump sprouted out of the 10 horns. And Daniel talks about the 10 horns. You can go to Daniel chapter 7. He gave in that chapter about President Trump's first coming that he talked about there in chapter 7. And then when you come to chapter 11, he's talking about his coming back. And I've been looking at some things very interesting that I have never realized or seen before. But when Nebuchadnezzar was taken down 7 times, now you might say, what does that mean? Does that mean 7 years, or it means 7 times? See, President Trump was taken down 1 time. And that's the time of the time between him when he came back, when he was taken down for the 8 years that he was taken down. That's the time. And when you look at Nebuchadnezzar's time, taken down 7 times. And I'll need to look at this a little bit more, but it's interesting that we know that Belshazzar, his son, took over. And then we know that the Medes and the Persians, and then the Greeks, and then the Romans, then America, and you can go through there and count all this up. And it matches up when President President Trump come forward the first time, that you'll learn that it was 7 times. And I'm understanding this. I'm very much looking at this and looking at it, that Nebuchadnezzar was taken down, but the Bible says that he would be taken down for 7 times, then he would return. So when you look at this, you realize that President Trump is just like Nebuchadnezzar. See, the man Nebuchadnezzar won't be back, but the spirit that was in him will be back, and it came back in President Trump. And we learned that the spirit that was in Daniel would return as well. You can go to Daniel chapter 12 and look at the last verse there, and God tells the spirit that's in Daniel. Now, the person Daniel won't be back, but the spirit will. The spirit in him will be back to reveal the thing that God was showing Daniel. See, God was giving Daniel understanding, but see, Daniel didn't get the full understanding. But God told him, you'll be back at the last days to give the rest of it. And that's what we're looking at. The spirit of Daniel is back. God told John, the Apostle John, Jesus told him, he said, you'll be back. He tells him there in Revelation chapter 10 that he must prophesy again. So he's telling John that the spirit that's in John will be back for the end time days as well, to bring clarity to what was given to John back when he wrote the book of Revelation. That he'll be back, the spirit in him will be back to give clarity of what's going on. And so we're seeing all this play over again, coming about, and the spirit was in Nebuchadnezzar's back in President Trump, and we know the spirit that was in Daniel's back, and the spirit that was in Apostle John is back, and giving clarity of these things. President Trump has the spirit that Nebuchadnezzar had in him. And we're looking at this. I don't know if you can understand what's going on here or not, but we want to look at things and understand, and we know that Jesus has brought the whore, the great whore, to light. And you read about that in Revelation chapter 17 and 18, about the great whore that God told John, Jesus told John, showed him the judgment of the great whore that will come in the end time days. And the great whore's been brought to light. This is what we see there in Washington, D.C. and New York City. See, Washington, D.C. and New York City is the new Babylon. See, Babylon will be back, and it started showing up after 2000. It started coming to visual. It was hid until 2000, and then the Twin Towers were taken down, and the new World Trade Center opened up, and so this thing started coming to visibility after 2000. This world changed in 2000. This is the 24 years that would come. And then we could have the extended year. That's the same thing that happened to Abraham when he come into the land and he started walking in the flesh for 24 years. And then God gave him the law of circumcision, and when Abraham done that, then a year later Isaac was born. And see, Isaac is a picture of Jesus' first coming to be the Lamb. And then Jacob done the very same thing. Jacob met God there at Bethel, and he went on off to Haran. And by the time he come back to Bethel and laid Jacob away, and then a year later Benjamin was born. See, this is the 24 and the 25 year thing that you look at. And Jesus will be coming to this world like Benjamin, the great warrior. When he comes this time, he'll be the great warrior. And he'll come to the Mount of Olives, and then he will ride the white horse into Jerusalem through the eastern gate. And this is after Israel's or Jerusalem's been flooded. And we learned that Jerusalem's going to be flooded in January in 2026 when we start the new year, January, that Jerusalem's going to be flooded. And this will be the abomination of desolation. And this is when Jesus will choose the 144,000. And he'll meet with them there on Mount Zion when he comes. He'll meet with 144,000. And we know the marriage supper of the Lamb takes place just before Jesus comes to the Mount of Olives. There in heaven, the resurrection will take place. Jesus will choose the 144,000, and the resurrection will take place, and marriage supper of the Lamb will take place there in heaven. And we're looking that this is in January. And then he will come to the Mount of Olives, and then he will ride the white horse into Jerusalem after it's been flooded in January. And see that by the time we come to March the 19th, this is when, according to, as we look at things, this is when the 7th millennial is supposed to begin, on March the 19th, that all of this is going to be done, and that we read about in the book of Daniel and Revelation, and about Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel and John and this thing with the great whore that has come to light, that God's going to begin to judge when we come to September the 22nd. And we're looking at all this. And this judgment's going to begin. And Revelation 17 and 18 gives it. And you can go there and read it. And see, this means that Washington, D.C. and New York City, this is when things are going to begin to fall apart about the economy and what's going on there in Washington, D.C. and New York City. I don't know if you're ready for all this or not. I hope you are. I hope you've invited Jesus into your heart, and that he's walking with you, and he's in you and using you and teaching you and showing you these things, I hope you've invited him in and you're walking with him, because this is important. And so I hope you'll do that, and God bless you, and you have a great day.